let's show you the gender-wise breakup for Chhattisgarh. And this is absolutely correct. In every state that goes to the polls, the women voter is becoming more and more important. Unlike in the past where women, especially in rural areas, tended to vote along with whatever was suggested by the male head of the house. Now we're seeing women showing greater agency at the hustings, deciding for themselves who and why they want to vote a particular way. Read this data very carefully. Amongst the men, the Congress's vote share has gone up from 42 to 43. Amongst the women, the Congress's vote share has come down from 44 to 41. That's a big loss of 3. And why this election is so exciting, and that's what Amit Shah and the BJP strategists are hoping for. Amongst women, the BJP has been able to increase its vote share by a whopping 9%. A 9% shift from the lows of 2018 isn't easy to engineer. A 9% shift in favor of the BJP amongst women voters. Amongst the men voters of Chhattisgarh, the BJP has increased its vote share by 39. Remember, if you see the electoral history of the state of Chhattisgarh, apart from 2018, go back to 2013 or go back to 2008, Chhattisgarh saw very close contests, Rajdeep, where the victor and the vanquished was decided by 1% to 2% of the vote share. It's only in the last election where the Congress had a very big lead. This is a reversion to the mean. This is how Chhattisgarh typically tends to vote. It's a very tight fight.
You know what you had 3 elections in Chhattisgarh where the BJP dominated in a way. While in vote share there was tight, the BJP was relatively comfortable in terms of seats. In 2018, it all changed. It was a wave election. Bhupesh Baghel and the Congress promised MSP for paddy of 2,500 rupees. They promised a waiver of electricity. And the farmers, as Preeti was pointing out, voted in large numbers for the Congress. What's happened since then is that in the last few years, there has been a measure of farmer distress in some parts. There are promises that were made to the tribal community which were not kept. Bhupesh Baghel has put in a lot of cash. If he's still in the race, it's because some of his welfare schemes are working. There is no doubt about it. Some of the delivery of his welfare schemes, especially to farmers, have had positive results. But remember, this is a state where the BJP only lost once since the formation of the state, which was in 2018. So I get a sense that the BJP is clawing its way back into Chhattisgarh. Remember, even Lok Sabha, they swept with 58% of the vote. Mr. Modi is a highly popular figure also in a state like Chhattisgarh. All of this meant that the Congress has not been able to arrest anti-incumbency, particularly against its MLAs, who are seen to be very corrupt. Corruption has damaged the Congress in Chhattisgarh.
It also shows how the BJP fought a valiant campaign. This, remember, Chhattisgarh was an election for the Congress to win. Bhupesh Baghel, in the Mood of the Nation opinion poll that India Today came out with, was seen as being one of the most popular, effective chief ministers across all chief ministers in the country. From there, the BJP tactically, strategically fought a very sharp campaign, and the Congress made several mistakes. Otherwise, the Congress still is in front, but this shouldn't have been as tight as it has become.
Are you surprised, Rashid, with these numbers? You know this state very well.
Precisely. I think, Rajdeep, it's still very early to say, but I think if corruption was an issue, then the Congress would have been a big loser, not this kind of close race of Congress getting an edge. I think the BJP has to revisit its own strategy, but not projecting a face either of Raman Singh or Vijay Baghel or any other contender, because Mr. Baghel seems to be having an edge because he is a very strong, powerful regional leader.
Also, don't forget, last time they were fully united because Baghel, T.S. Singhdeo were all on the same side. And Sarguja, they swept all 14 seats, which is the bastion of T.S. Singhdeo, or Baba as he's called. Now what you had is T.S. Singhdeo has been seething without expressing himself angrily at being passed over for chief ministership. And there was a sense, and we'll see those numbers when they come, in the Sarguja belt, did dissension hurt the Congress? All of this, of course, doesn't mean the Congress is losing Chhattisgarh. Yeah. The Congress is still ahead of the BJP in these numbers. So for all the might that the BJP has put in, Rahul, as per your numbers, the Congress is closer to the halfway mark than the BJP is.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But the Congress should have been, by their own estimate, 50 plus. 60, Bhupesh Baghel was not willing to talk about anything less than 60 plus. So from there, the BJP has made it a far more exciting election.
Rahul, are you surprised?
Little bit, but I would say, see, if you also break the elections in 2 phases, the first phase where BJP basically climbs up, right? And I think by the time they realized that they can actually give a fight, it was too late. Otherwise, they could have made a really, really good fight in Chhattisgarh. What we were thinking 6 months ago, if BJP had realized that at that time, it could have been changed this
Chetan, where does this come from? You believe that whenever there's a close fight, the BJP wins. Is this a perception? There are a few close fights that the Congress has also won. Madhya Pradesh last time was an example, to some extent Rajasthan in 2018. But is there this perception that when it's a close fight, yaar aayega to Modi hi?
Because they do have a lot more
Resources,
options, more bargaining chips to play with. I'm not going to talk about the ethics or non-ethics, but they have more to offer, more to take away. I think that's definitely there. I think one more observation here is that the India alliance, whether it's important for the Congress or not, there seems to be 11% others vote share. They're not winning many seats, but they're taking 11%.
Part of it is the JCC, because you had...
So, I mean, if the Congress on its own versus if the Congress can get into a better alliances, it would not be this situation. I mean, the Lok Sabha lessons are also here. I know this is...
2 to tango.
Yeah, so I think...
In fact, our poll is showing, and maybe Preeti, you're right, then you want to come in on that. The poll actually says that the farm loan waiver, once the Congress brought in, the BJP announced it, the Congress realized it has to go back to farm loan waiver, announces it on November 5th, and there is a sense, as per our exit poll, that the Congress was able to get back some of their farmer vote. You get a sense that the farmer vote is as important there as the woman vote.
I think it's very, very important. And why I say that is in 2018, if the Congress came to power at the back of what many analyzed as the farm loan waiver, I think this time around, and why I say that, Rajdeep, I saw it echo in Madhya Pradesh, where people were talking about the farm loan waiver in the state of Chhattisgarh. And I think he needed to give it because back to back in 2018, if you've given it, why would you give it this year? He understood that he needed to give the farm loan waiver if he needed even to stack up the kind of numbers that Rahul has taken us through.
There's some very interesting detailing in the age-wise breakup for Chhattisgarh. And listen to me carefully as I explain this to you. The younger you are, the higher the chances that you voted for the BJP in Chhattisgarh. And the older you are, the higher the chance that you voted for the Congress. And you don't see such a clear trend in state elections usually. It's often a mixed bag. You don't really see as clear a distinction as you're just about to see. Younger voters rooting very strongly for the BJP, older voters sticking with the Congress much more so. So see this, and this kind of a curve you will very rarely see. So if you start looking at the young voters, 44% of those who are between the age of 18 and 25 said they voted for the BJP versus only 37% saying they voted for the Congress. So 44% versus 37% amongst the really young voters. From there, if you come to those who are above 61, 46% of those said they voted for the Congress, only 39% saying they voted for the BJP. So it really goes from 37%, 18 to 25 voters voting for the Congress, then 41% for those amongst 26 and 35. It keeps increasing. So the older you are, the more you voted for the Congress. The younger you are, the more you voted for the BJP. And this kind of polarity, if you break this up by age groups, Rahul, as clear and distinct, you don't typically get to see.
This should be a big concern for the Congress because they have the younger leader, for one thing. They have the younger... Like Rahul, like at the national level, relatively.
No, but this is about Baghel, not about Rahul.
No, I know, but I'm saying if this... I know it is about Baghel, but at the same time we are doing age demographics, and if generally, one would imagine with the whole Bharat Jodo Yatra and all those things, the fact that, look at the difference, it's plus 12 and minus 4. So, I mean, that is...
You don't see such sharp polarity usually.
The Bharat Jodo Yatra never passed.
No, I know, but the perception that... But the latest voter...
Maybe we'd like to see the numbers in the Rajasthan, because that's where it passed.
Look at how the BJP changes the narrative. In 2023 May, one of the reasons they lost Karnataka was 500 rupees gas cylinder. LPG hum 500 rupees denge. The BJP quickly announced for Chhattisgarh, hum yahan bhi 500 rupees denge. So you see the ability to course correct. And in all states they've done that. Some have said 450. They said I'll give it. So you see, you realized in May. No, 1 minute. You realized in May that it's cost you an election. You decide to change. What else did the BJP do? The Sahu community. The OBCs, which Rahul Gandhi, since Rahul Gandhi was mentioned, is being wooed through caste census. The BJP said, hum sabse zyada seatein is bar Sahu community ko denge. Now that is a big vote bank. It is about 14% of the population. So what happens is at the micro level, when elections are fought, these factors matter, Rahul. So I think if Chhattisgarh becomes as close as it is, then the BJP's micromanagement has helped it. The Congress 6 months ago looked in pole position. Remember also the Mahadev app scandal coming up, and the BJP typically amplified it a few days later. So in urban pockets, corruption could be an issue. Deputy Secretary of the Chief Minister is arrested and still in jail, denied bail in a multi-crore scam. All of this somewhere, Bhupesh Baghel looks like the strong man. But in the last few months, you've sensed that the BJP has managed to puncture the balloon a bit.
We have just a few minutes to go.
Sorry, Rahul, just one thing. I mean, even here, let's not forget, Congress is still having the edge, even by your polls. Yeah. And I know other channel polls you're not supposed to quote, but almost all of them are giving Congress.
Sure, but I have come back.
I'm just saying, we are like celebrating.
Sir, I have come back from a 3-4. In 2018, I won 3/4. I
Okay,
am now
but you just need
barely
to win
coming
50.
about the halfway mark.
You
That's
just
all.
need to win 50.
No, but Rahul made a very interesting point. Rahul said not a single chief minister apart from Sheila Dikshit of the Congress has been repeated again.
So Mukul Sangma, Tarun Gogoi, Mukul Sangma.
Mukul Sangma.
Since he said since 2013.
No, one second.
Bhupender Singh
Tarun
Hooda, this
Gogoi
all
went back.
happened
No, one second.
Since 2013.
No, one second. Can I explain?
Since the rise of Modi.
Sheila Dikshit got re-elected in 2008.
Bhupender Singh Hooda got re-elected.
Tarun Gogoi got re-elected in 2013. After that, in the Modi era, there hasn't been a case where a Congress chief minister has got re-elected. So if Bhupesh Baghel is able to win on Sunday, that would be historic.
So the
Congress hasn't been able to do it in the Modi era.
Yeah, he's not getting 75, but if he still gets 50% of the seats, that you're telling me is still a very
distinction will not pass ho gaya. You're saying that. Pass hona on a tough pitches. So now let's look at
the worry will be as the Raipur Satta Bazaar says, the election will then start after the 3rd, because then those 5 or 6 independents and smaller parties
Rajdeep, that can happen after 15
months.
Okay,
so who do voters in Chhattisgarh want as the next chief minister? That's the question that we posed. This is the response that we got. 31% wanting Bhupesh Baghel to be the next chief minister, 21% wanting former chief minister Raman Singh, who's the longest serving chief minister of the state of Chhattisgarh, and anybody from the BJP was 18, anybody from the Congress was 9. T.S. Singh Dio at 2, Bhupesh Baghel at 31.